represent or defame any of the teams it covers, nor does it represent or compete against any of the mainstream media in the state of Michigan. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them, because the truth is always out there. Right, Frank?
Yes, it is.
Yep. So not much to talk about, but we'll take it slow on each topic. We'll take it as slow as we can. Let's start off this time with the Lions and Packers game. Lions had a 13-0 lead, then they led 22-13. They lose on what appeared to be a controversial face mask penalty on Trey Flowers, not one but two. But
Taylor, it was a hands to the face.
Hands to the face, yeah. Hands to the face, yep. Gotcha. Yep, yeah, kind of like face masking, but yeah. On Trey Flowers, but kind of the same thing, but almost. But it was a bad call. I get it, but yes, the Lions got screwed. They did, but I mean it's happened quite a few times as of late to the Lions, but still it happens to every team. And let's dive into this fan base before we analyze the entire game. The fans want to start a war with the fans and players and media want to start a war with the referees in the league, the NFL, which not only with the Lions but some of the other teams as well. We've seen it from other teams like Boston versus everybody, Detroit versus everybody too. But still, this is just childish. Cleveland versus everybody, Kansas City versus everybody, Indianapolis versus everybody, LA versus everybody, and then I've seen sweaters that say Detroit versus the refs. Give me a break. Jeez, that's going way out of line. Fans, society is way too hostile in the state of Michigan. Seriously, they are not acting like adults. They aren't. Now, for the game itself, the Lions only settled for one touchdown, 5 field goals, and like 6 or 7 punts. And their offense just continues to sputter game after game, except in the Chiefs game, where their defense had quite a few Swiss cheese holes in them against the Kansas City Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes was correct, but was awesome. But as always, the Lions defense made too many mistakes. Too many of the same mistakes. This time it's their offense that's the scapegoat, not the refs. I can't blame the refs on this one. I can't. I'll give the Lions a pass on it, just one free pass, but that's it. But the Lions, they really need to get their offense going. Again, their defense wasn't too shabby, except they left some wide receivers wide open, like Devontae Adams. Oh wait, he was out, or not? Yeah, Devontae Adams was out. But that wide receiver that caught the touchdown to pull the Packers to within 2. Lazard, thank you. So yeah, that was right after that first hands to the face penalty against Trey Flowers, which was very close to it. Or probably Trey Flowers was like choking that offensive lineman. And then that second penalty was way incorrect. The NFL vice president admitted that it was a mistake. And fans still want to start this verbal war with the refs in the league. Lions fans do. And that's just unacceptable. They are not adults. They are 5-year-old children are 10-year-old kids, 10-year-old bullies, especially from the city of Detroit. And this is so out of character as it has been the last few years. It's always been the last few years. They got screwed again, but we've been smarter and stronger than that before mentally. It's always the same old Lions. That just because they keep getting screwed doesn't mean they're a good team. Or a great team. They're not the best. They're definitely not the best. Ninja can F off for that. So Lions fall to last place. It's still a close division race in the NFC North. Packers still lead 5-2. Bears, Vikings, Bears 3-2. Lions 2-1. That is so close. Very close. At least for second place. But first place still very close. Still fairly close. Packers. Packers 5-2. Vikings and Bears like 4-2, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I'm pulling the standings up right now.
Oh wait, Packers are 4-2, or 5-1 rather. But yeah.
Yes, 5-1.
5-1. Thank you. Yeah, that's a darn good record by Green Bay, and never count out Aaron Rodgers. He is resilient, no matter what the circumstances on the field. Whether it's against the Packers or against the Lions, great teams finish games and win them, no matter what the circumstances. But even the national media and 5 Points Vids and Urinating Tree were not even blaming the Lions. They were blaming the refs. Justin Spiro was very soft on the Lions and very hard on the refs. He was blaming the refs, but he was very soft on the Lions. He didn't even blame anyone on the Lions team. Spiro's been. It's not the first time Spiro's been very soft on the Lions. After every time they get screwed by the officials, but you just there is some blame. There is some more blame on the Lions than the officials, of course. So Frank, back me up, please.
Well, Taylor, you're absolutely right with what you said. Yes, the officiating in that game was terrible. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But it was not the reason the Lions lost. You settle for field goals in a game like that, you're asking to lose. Especially when you only put up 58 yards of offense in the second half. You have to be able to move the ball in a game like this. And yeah, as for penalties, good teams rise above it. Play above it, play the next play. So what if you got called for a hands to the face and it was horrible? It still got called. You still got to play the next play and make a stop. Just rise above it and be better tomorrow.
Yeah, and it gave the Packers a chance to just kick in a chip shot by Mason Crosby with just 2 seconds left. But 2 seconds left, the Lions still not much of a chance to make a kickoff return for a touchdown, but to run out the clock, and it still would have won. And even that still would have won the game for the Lions. It did. It could have been 28-23, to be exact. But their offense just needs to get better. More importantly, yeah, you just gotta play the next play after that. But it should not have been a close game. Should not have been a close game. The Lions' lackluster offense, the way they played, selling for 5 field goals and 1 touchdown, and like 6 or 7 punts, they did not. They actually did put themselves in that position to begin with, and just like Michigan in 2016 at Ohio State.
Yeah, and Taylor, one more thing. The Lions came up with 3 takeaways on defense. They had 2 fumble recoveries and 1 interception. You got to turn those into touchdowns. How do you do that? This game's not even close. But they didn't. Settling for, again, all goes back to settling for field goals. Games like this, if a team makes a mistake, you have to take advantage of it.
Yep. Quick shout out to our good friend Jeff Moss, who used to run the Detroit Sports Rag, but is now retired. Still, he posted on his Facebook profile at Franklin Athletic Club, and still People's Champion. Tennis Moss defeats Andy Joseph 6-1, 6-2. Now I just need that hair coloring the geek uses. So, yeah, congratulations, Jeff Moss, on winning that tennis match against Andy Joseph. Jeff Moss must be getting really good at tennis.
I didn't even know he played tennis.
Yeah, he's been playing tennis like twice now, as far as I heard.
Oh,
but
that's good.
I think that was the first time that I heard it was last year or something like that. But still, congratulations to Jeff Moss.
Yeah, it's good. Good to know that he's found something to do in retirement and is being successful.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Hopefully, Jeff Moss comes out of retirement at some point in the future. We need him back. We do. But back to the Lions game again. Got to get over the officiating, and their offense was pathetic. They kept settling for field goals. 5 field goals, 1 touchdown, 6 or 7 punts. But even Matthew Stafford was not blaming the officials. Matt Patricia was not blaming the officials. There were some Lions fans that were blaming the officials and used the phrase Detroit versus everybody. But when it's actually Detroit versus Detroit versus themselves, actually, it's the same thing. Hashtag 1 playoff win in 62 years and still counting. The Lions have only won one playoff game since 1957, when they last won an NFL championship, which was not a Super Bowl. Since then, they've made 0 Super Bowl appearances. Not the only team, but still one of the worst teams in the NFL, and one of the worst teams in sports history too. So, yeah, get upset about that. They're run to the ground by the Ford family, who needs to sell them. So there. Get upset about that, not the officiating. And it's only it's only 6 weeks into the season. The Packers, Vikings, and Bears, I think they all have not had a bye week, unlike the Lions. Packers 5-1, Vikings and Bears 4-2, Lions 2-1. So those are the standings. Lions and Vikings next Sunday at 1. This upcoming Sunday at 1. I need to get my watch here. It's 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. But this is a very good discussion between you and I, Frank, about the fans complaining about the officiating, as they always do every freaking game. And that's all the fans ever do, just complain about the officiating. Lions fans especially. It's just getting on my nerves. That's why I have to step the F out of this and just they just refuse to listen.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right, Taylor. And I've had to step out from stuff as well because it gets on my nerves. But look, all I will just say, and I've said it a million times, teams just got to be better.
Yeah, and avoid those situations, for goodness sake, particularly by being better, especially. Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
Yep, absolutely. So there's that. yeah, really, it's really just the same crisis that the fans think they have when it's actually the team that puts themselves in that position every now, like almost constantly, but almost every year. And the Lions don't even come close to getting a Super Bowl, for instance, when they play better teams than themselves, teams that are better than them. So that's just the story. Just because the officials screwed your team doesn't mean that your team is better than them. You can't claim that. That's what childish Lions fans everywhere have done constantly, like zillions of times. It's just not acceptable. So, yeah, let's dive into Lions Vikings. Frank, I'm sure you've done at least some homework, so I'll let you take it away on this one.
Well, excuse me, I'm going to try and get through this with the best of what's left of my voice. I mean, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a somewhat interesting game. I mean, the Lions are going to be at home. The thing is, I'm not sold on Kirk Cousins as being a great QB. I mean, he's looked good against the Vikings absolutely whopped the Eagles last week. But again, Cousins is kind of a different QB on the road. But again, I still need to see something from this offense that tells me that they're good enough to get you to a win. And truthfully, I can't see a close game. But until the Lions offense shows me something, I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I think they end up winning it, let's say 21-17. I can see that type of game going. And because, sorry. But I do think that this is an opportunity for them to show what they can do. But it's going to be tough against the Vikings defense, which I believe is second best in the division behind the Bears.
Yeah, I don't think the Lions offense has a chance of scoring too many touchdowns against the Vikings defense. And this is just something the Lions have struggled with. Their offense. It's their entire offense, not just Matthew Stafford, but their entire offense. They just need to do better scouting and better. And Matt Patricia says he needs to coach better. He did not blame the officiating. He just might have acted like he was suspicious of what went on between the officiating and Trey Flowers. He just said obviously they saw it. So Matt Patricia's just trying to find loopholes past the fact of the controversy, and I like that. Matt Patricia, very very mature as a head coach. Not smart when it comes to in-game plays, but he can overcome it very well, very easily from a mental standpoint. But got to do better scouting on that Vikings defense, especially. The Lions offense just needs to make more plays against the Vikings defense. It does. So the Lions defense needs to just keep up what they did against Green Bay. They did a good job against the Packers. Except in the end, although there was controversy, that the defense still could have played better against Aaron Rodgers and company and his Packers offensive unit. They can't just let the Packers score like that just because officiating is beating them down. Bad officiating is beating them down accidentally. So that's something you got to overcome. But still, but still, the defense did a good job, except in that fourth quarter. They just need to get back into it. They need to get to whoever the quarterback is for
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, yes, he's still the quarterback for the Vikes. Okay, good. Vikings, former NFC runners-up. Vikings winning the NFC North two seasons ago. You can't count them out. You just can't. That's a very tough NFC North opponent.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. So that covers it for the Lions. Again, I'll give them one free pass, but after that, I am definitely done rooting for the Lions to win forever until the Ford family sells the damn team. Period. Then I will care a lot less about the officiating. And I will not even engage with the fans. I probably won't tweet much about the Lions if they keep this if they keep this up. And chances are, it's likely to happen again real soon. That's what the Lions are going to put themselves in that position to get screwed again, because they almost never improve. They just keep themselves in a close game a lot of times, and they let bad officiating get to them. That they want to entertain their audience again and again and again and again and again. With Detroit versus everybody, Detroit versus the refs, I say screw them. I say screw Detroit and screw everyone. I screw both sides. I'm done. If that's going to continue to, that kind of foolish entertainment's going to keep up, then I'm done. Screw it. We're never going to talk about the Lions again. And it's my call. I'm the judge on this one. I created this damn show. So that goes for everyone involved. I'm not gonna delve into the Lions anymore if they're gonna keep this up. I'm giving one free pass, but that's it. I'm willing to man up and give them one free pass. But after that, I'm putting my foot down completely. That's got to stop. They've got to knock it off. Knock off that stuff, okay? Please. So, 10:24. We killed 24 minutes and change, 24 and a half, talking about the Lions. So let's move on to Michigan State. The Spartans getting annihilated by the Wisconsin Badgers, 38-0. Man, oh man. 2 route losses to Ohio State and to Wisconsin, both on the road. They were outscored 69-10 the last 2 games. Yikes! And now one of the I read one of the athletic articles headlining, "Could Dantonio walk at season's end?" I read the body of it. I read a part of the body of it. It said it's a mailbox about all of what's going around in the entire college football world. But I spotted this Dantonio stuff, and that the editor of that article said, "I don't see Dantonio walking." Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not solely Dantonio's fault. Their athletic director just needs to make a lot of changes to their coaching staff. Dantonio, as arrogant as he is, it's not his fault. His post-game press conference saying that's a dumbass question when it's actually legit. We get that. Everyone saw that. It was a legitimate question, but other than that, it's not exact. That this season's not exactly just his fault. It's the offensive. It's the assistant coach's fault coaches' faults as well, especially the offensive line, the offensive coaches. Dave Warner, no longer the offensive coordinator, but still running backs coach, and he's still a part of the staff. And all those assistant coaches that Dantonio was enabling and stuff, Dantonio was hanging on to. It's just ridiculous. Kind of like John L. Smith, like you pointed out, John L. Smith hanging on to his old coaches. Dave Baldwin, the defensive coordinator, or Dave, the offensive coordinator, and then Chris Spielman, the defensive coordinator.
Hey, Taylor.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's I believe it was Stuart Mandel who did that mailbag. And there is one point in here. He says that Dantonio is set to receive a one-time $4.3 million bonus on January 15th of 2020. So I would say that if he ends up walking away or Michigan State makes a change, it would have to be after that date. Otherwise, they're going to owe. Otherwise, because if they get rid of him before then they're going to have to negotiate some kind of buyout out ahead of time if they want to get rid of him. But I don't see him leaving on his own until January 15th or later. And as for potential replacements, I've heard the name Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. I've heard Chris Creighton from Eastern Michigan. I've heard Matt Campbell from Iowa State. I mean, that was, I believe, an article that Bruce Feldman wrote for The Athletic as well. Those are probably the three biggest names that I've heard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those three coordinators, if Dantonio were to walk, those sound pretty good. So, yeah, who knows what might happen in the future? But I think the athletic director needs to address the coaches, except for Dantonio. I know he's not holding any of the assistant coaches accountable, but it's not mostly his fault, to be honest with you. As he's arrogant too, but maybe he was just cranky with that dumbass question comment and stuff in his post-game press conference. But still, it's not his fault. He's already reached a record mark. That's what they said. Stuart Mandel in The Athletic. That's what Stuart Mandel said from The Athletic, that Mark Dantonio already reached his mark in terms of how many wins he has recorded as a head coach for the Michigan State Spartans, or throughout his entire career. Mark Dantonio is maybe one of the winningest coaches in Spartan football history. Some may say that.
Winningest. He is the winningest. Yes.
In Spartan football history. Good. Wow. Yeah. That he even led the Spartans in 2015 to the college football playoff. They won the Rose Bowl in January 2014. They did.
Yeah. But the thing is, since that playoff, there's really been not much in terms of success. And, it's honestly starting to look like Florida State with Bobby Bowden in the later years, where it was basically hovering around 7-8 wins, just doing enough to skate by and get to a bowl game. But once you reach the top, the plateau of success you want to reach when you've got there, you can't just fall down and say, you know what, I reached there, I'm done, I'm just don't care how I'm going to do the rest of the way. You got to keep going and for it. Winning Big Ten championships, trying to get to Pasadena or the playoff. That's got to be the goal every year now. That's just the cost of success.
Yeah, and especially when after you get to the college football playoff, if you're Michigan State, you lose great players like Connor Cook to the NFL draft, and you got to start over with a new slate, and it's definitely not even nearly as easy if you want to get back, if you want to stay in the college football playoff hunt for a national championship. It's just a lot of hardships have been going on since then, and that's just tragic for Michigan State. And they haven't reached too many BCS bowl games as in their history. Not just since Dantonio was first hired by Michigan State after John L. Smith was fired, but still, those hardships as of late have taken the toll. Have taken a toll. They have taken their toll. There's just got to be some way for Mark Dantonio to help his Spartans rebound, but you just can't hang on to your same assistant coaches, including your then offensive coordinator Dave Warner, now just a running backs coach. You just can't do that, but that's why the athletic director has to make some hard decisions with the assistant coaches, and maybe when Mark Dantonio someday works with different assistant coaches, when they sound different, maybe they can improve the offense and defense as well. Maybe the Spartans can start beating some better teams like Wisconsin and Ohio State and Michigan. They 2 weeks ago they grounded Iowa to 3 points. We'll get to them beating Illinois next, but they also their state schedule does get easier after those two very ugly route losses. It does. They got Rutgers, Maryland.
Well, Taylor, hold on. Michigan State is on a bye this week. They will play. Yeah, they're going to play Penn State at home.
That's another tough team at Spartan Stadium.
Yeah, then they got another bye after that. Then it's home against Illinois, at Michigan, then at Rutgers, and then home against Maryland.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I can't wait for those. I cannot wait for those. So, speaking of Michigan, they defeated the Illinois Fighting Illini 42-25. They jumped out to an easy 28-0 lead before allowing a touchdown right before the break and led 28-7. Illinois came all the way back to within 3 at 28-25 when the Illini started gaining their own momentum, and Michigan kind of lost momentum on both sides of the ball. They lost 2 fumbles like they did the first 3 games against Middle Tennessee, Army, and Wisconsin. Jim Harbaugh. Well, I'll get to him later. But Michigan, when at the moment Illinois cut the lead to 3, Michigan realized it was a wake-up call, and they answered the call by scoring 14 unanswered points on 2 touchdowns. And Illinois started taking a step back because Illinois is Illinois. The Illini have now fallen to 2-4. Michigan winning 42-25. Michigan 6-1 or 5-1? Correct. Which is it?
They are 5-1.
5-1. Thank you. Yeah, Yeah, they were coming off a 10-3 win over Iowa. The Hawkeyes at home at the Big House in Ann Arbor. That was such that in a game where their defense stepped it up like 10 notches plus against Iowa. Yeah, you did point out that Iowa's offense isn't really as good as I thought they would be, but Iowa was going into that game 14th ranked into Ann Arbor 14th ranked. Now, I think Iowa's 19th ranked. They were last week, but anyway, Michigan still stays at 16th ranked after their win over Illinois, which could have been a bigger rout had it not been for that comeback that fell just 3 points short. Man, that it was Michigan that indeed made it look interesting by allowing Illinois to cut to within 3 somehow, but Michigan recovered nicely. They answered the call. It was a sense of urgency. It was a wake-up call, like I mentioned before. But yeah, that after the Iowa game, Harbaugh said the offense was hitting its stride. Well, I think, which was totally asinine, maybe. But they put up 42 points against Illinois. That was an easier team, unlike the 10 shortly amounted points that they put up against Iowa at the Big House. So that their offense scored 42 points. Granted, it was against Illinois, but can they prove that they can put up about as many points on the scoreboard against good teams? Well, I don't know. There's expectation and then there's doubt. You gotta look at the entire picture. So Michigan is going to Penn State. Speaking of which, can they put points on the board against Penn State? They got routed 2 years ago in Happy Valley. That's Saturday at 7:30 on ABC, while the Spartans have their bye week, like you mentioned before. But Michigan and Penn State, you want to say something here before we dive into that? Go ahead.
I will say about Michigan's upcoming game against Penn State, I think this is a game that Michigan has to win if they want to prove that they can still contend in the Big Ten. I mean, we saw them get their doors blown off at Wisconsin, their third game of the year. And I think this is another game that could happen as well, because Penn State at night is very tough to go and win. And usually only the best of the best teams go into Happy Valley and win at night. And truthfully, I got to see if Michigan's got an answer for Sean Clifford, Penn State's quarterback, who's actually been doing pretty well. 13 touchdown passes, 2 picks. And also, you have to keep an eye on KJ Hamler, their receiver, who's got 5 TD catches on the year. And this is a Penn State team that they can light up the scoreboard as well. They're averaging 42 a game. I mean, at home game, like last home game against Purdue, they put up 35. They also put up 45 against Buffalo. I mean, I know they only put up 17 against Iowa, but the thing is, I may have said this last week, Iowa at home is a different animal than Iowa on the road. So, but, Penn State went into Kinnick. They got the job done, survived, pulled out the win. And, truthfully, I could see this one being pretty ugly. I think Penn State probably wins this one. I'll say 38-17.
Penn State wins 38-17, you say? Yeah. I'm going to go 41-13 Penn State. Man, I know it. I know it's very. I know it sounds very harsh to Michigan fans, but still, that the truth is the truth. I Penn State's a very good team, unlike Illinois. Michigan's not playing Illinois; they're playing Penn State. Michigan played Iowa and only scored 10 points. It was at home. Penn State, my gosh, how about 38-13? Yeah, 38-13. Penn State. Michigan's offense and defense are really going to be put to a test in a hostile environment at Happy Valley at State College, Pennsylvania. Saturday at 7:30 on ABC. Michigan, Penn State, Wolverines, and Nittany Lions. Very good matchup on paper, but we know exactly what's going on. It's not just the home crowd, but Michigan's inability to secure the football. That's just like they did against Illinois and against in the first 3 games against Middle Tennessee, Army, and Wisconsin on the road.
Taylor, you mentioned that, and I actually had this discussion with the fellas from Friday Night Victors earlier this week. Michigan's got a real problem with ball security. And if they don't take care of the football against Penn State, they are going to be in for a lot of trouble. Because, look, I just happen to wonder if Harbaugh's put up a sign at practice saying ball security is job security.
Yeah, usually he doesn't do that because he's very protective to his players, very over loyal to his team. And usually he is. But after each of the first 3 games, Harbaugh was criticizing his offense. He after the first game, they said they were shooting themselves in the foot. And after the 3rd game, he said he takes responsibility. He takes full responsibility, which I'll give credit for growing a set of balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I give that. And then after Iowa, he said when they scored 10 points, he said he thinks that Michigan's offense is hitting its stride. He went back to his old self there, except in a surprising fashion. Man, you got this is like this two-faced Harbaugh, the critical Harbaugh, and then the loyal Harbaugh. When Michigan just only puts a touchdown and a field goal against a ranked team at home, and their kicker was not that good that game either. But their kicking, their field goal kicking department was better at Illinois. They did take care of the football at Rutgers, like we've discussed. They had a couple fumbles, but they recovered them both against Iowa, and then the 2 lost fumbles against Illinois, like we mentioned before here tonight. It's back to the same stuff. Harbaugh, after the Illinois game, Harbaugh said he's still all I heard him say was he's still proud of his guys. So not much criticism from Harbaugh because Michigan fans think a win is a win. I mean, come on, really? They just don't care. We do here on our podcast. We care about all our teams in the state of Michigan. So that's why we criticize and help them out. Unlike the slapsticks over there, all over the country, all over our state. So yeah, that's just the way it goes here on our podcast. Yeah, our podcast not competing against any mainstream media, but against people in general that don't care. It's called like human nature and something like that. Doesn't matter
Or
if they work it or not.
Or those that want to push the whole positive spin narrative. And most of that comes from the fans in Ann Arbor that think, oh, everything's awesome. They choose to ignore what's really going on in front of their faces and accept reality.
Right, exactly. Yeah, not going to mention any names at all this time, promise. So, it is 10:46, soon to be 10:47. Hopefully, Todd can fill us in on Faber's fillers, but we still got Red Wings to talk about. They lost 2 straight. Last Thursday they beat Montreal, the Canadiens in Montreal at Bell Center 4-2. That was the first time they've beaten the Canadiens in a regulation game in Montreal since December 4th of 2007. Anthony Mantha scoring another power play goal. He's now got and then the Red Wings losing to the Maple Leafs 5-2 at Little Caesars Arena before heading out to Western Canada. They took a beating to the Vancouver Canucks at Rogers Arena 5-1 just last night. Just last Tuesday night. Jonathan Bernier was obviously in goal in that game. Before then, he was outplaying Jimmy Howard statistically until that massacre. In that game, Dylan Larkin from Mantha and Bertuzzi to open the scoring. Anthony Mantha now has 6 goals, 3 assists, by the way. But Frank Waters finding its level already. The Red Wings are now 3-3-0. They were started out great, 3-1-0 after Montreal. But still, you pointed it out already. 3-3-0. Waters finding its level.
Well, you're absolutely right about that, Taylor. And it's no big surprise at all. Really, like I've said, I'm looking for individual development from the players themselves. I know this team's going to be in rough shape all season. Getting shellacked by a Vancouver team that I don't expect to be that great is probably going to be, at best, 5th place in the Pacific. Doesn't do well for your confidence, especially since you're facing I believe Thatcher Demko is only in his first or second year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You only get 1 goal on him. But, games like this, it is what it is. You see Dylan Larkin get a goal early on, then the team just can't get anything going afterwards. And they pretty much collapse defensively. And, it's pretty much take your lumps, move on to the next one. The next one's going to be a tough one, too, in Calgary.
Scotiabank Saddledome. By the way, that Vancouver game, Mike Green was an absolute dumpster fire. A very significant scapegoat, taking too many penalties. The Canucks score at least 2 power play goals on him. Mike Green takes a 3rd penalty. They were all in the second period. That was the epitome of the collapse. Mike Green playing poor defense. That's just him, all right. Mike Green. I don't know when his contract expires. Let me look it up on Spotrac.
Yeah, I believe it is. I believe it's after this season.
After this season, thank goodness for Shep Herman. From Herman's European Cafe, thank you very much. Mike Green, after this season, get the F out of here. GTFO, man.
Yeah, I think he'll be somebody who's gone, and also Jonathan Ericsson will be
Jonathan
gone
Ericsson
as well.
most definitely gone. Yeah. He's in the last year of his contract.
I don't think he's even played yet this season.
No, he has not. No, he's definitely gone. And there have been players there have been defensemen on this team that have played better than Jonathan Ericsson too, by the way. Mike Green may have been garbage against Vancouver, but even he had played better than Jonathan Ericsson other than that Vancouver game. Just telling the more fair truth. But yeah, Mike Green, he better be gone too. So Erickson and Green hopefully both get the heave ho. But Erickson, most importantly, is going to be gone. For goodness sake, Steve Eisman, I'm pretty sure he is aware of it. So
it is worth noting that Alex Biega, who they acquired from Vancouver in a trade, he did make his season debut last night.
Yep.
Was even on the plus minus, had 4 shots on goal. I believe he was. Hold on, let me pull the box score up again.
Not too shabby for Alex Biega. Hasn't produced, but not too shabby.
I believe he was paired with Dennis Chalowski last night because I think Daly and Hronek were together and Patrick Nemeth and Green were together. I'm just kind of judging by how the plus minus ratings things were played out. So, I mean, Biega did okay. And I think he was only in because Danny Kaiser was out with an upper body injury. So we'll see if he ends up coming back in Calgary or not. Otherwise, we'll probably see Biega in the lineup again. Although if Kaiser's healthy, I'd probably scratch Green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Try to get Todd Faber in here. The Red Wings have the Flames and then the Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers were started out 5-0. But then they lost their first game. But the Oilers, still a good team. Calgary, not a bad team either. So the Red Wings are in totality in for a very tough Western Canada road trip before they return home against the Vancouver Canucks and stuff. And so on and so forth as the season continues to progress through the first month through its first month, October. So, Frank, any homework on the Flames and Oilers? While we wait for Todd.
Well, excuse me. I can tell you that the sorry, I'm trying to do this with what's left of my voice. Elias Lindholm is the one who's leading the Flames in goal scoring with 4 on the year. Johnny Gaudreau has got 7 points on the season. Calgary right now is 3-1. I think they were considered one of the favorites in the Pacific Division. So they're kind of off to a ho-hum start.
Not great, but not too shabby.
Yeah. So who knows how this one could go. Edmonton, as you mentioned, kind of come back down to earth. I mean, everyone knows about Connor McDavid. But, I mean, I'm still kind of shocked that James Neal got off the hot start that he did. 8 goals with 8 goals on the season, which nobody saw coming at all. But, again, I think I said this after further review that this would be a team that water would find its level as well. There's no way they're going to keep rolling off to this hot of a start.
Yeah. So, yep, that's true. Yeah, after further review can be heard on 88.3 FM WXUT in Toledo, a college-run station at the University of Toledo every Friday morning, isn't it?
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Saturday morning, 11:30 a.m. So, yeah. Yeah, and usually Saturdays I'm at work at Herman's European Cafe.
This Saturday we're probably going to have pre-record ahead of time because I think Derek has got a basketball camp that he's got around it. I've got another obligation to tend to, so we'll have something up for our listeners.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It looks like Todd Faber has joined the meeting. Todd, it's time for Faber's Fillers. We got 4 minutes left. You want to make this real snappy before a closing statement. Todd, go ahead.
Hey, thank you guys so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Just want to make sure that I'm audible. So what we're doing is kind of a last-minute segment called Faber's Fastballs. And it just got me thinking, about professionalism. in sports media. We're doing this from the comfort of our homes right now, so it's just kind of a low-key affair. But we put together a very professional and environment where we don't cheer in the press box, where if something bad happens to a Detroit team, like a lousy call, we're not going to slip up and say bull bleep like certain, dumber people who have access to a larger audience, like virgin manatees and people like that. I was a dumb, lumpy, blogger who cheered in the press box. That was dumb. That was unprofessional. I don't do that anymore. I've learned objectivity. You realize I've said this without even using the word Lions. We know what happened on Monday. We got our anger out. We got screwed. That's the truth. That's what we say on this here podcast. We speak the truth. So don't be a dumb virgin manatee. Listen to some truth. The truth is out there. Hit them with the hype.
All right. Yeah. That's very true. The Lions offense put themselves in a position to be screwed. They were screwed, but
Exactly.
They put themselves in that position.
They absolutely
5 field
did.
goals, 1 touchdown, 7 punts.
You convert one of those, 2 of those. We're not even having this conversation. You're absolutely right. Is that kind of loud? I saw you wincing there.
No, this is good. No.
Cool.
I
So
had autism. Yeah.
It's like we're just chatting here in the living room while I'm watching a movie. That's great. So,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
truth is out here. I'm going to fill in the last 5 minutes because this is really something that I'm doing for fun. After my night school classes, I enjoy it very much, and this was fantastic because it was a late night. I didn't even get home from school till 10:15, so it's been a fantastic day, and I'm going to put out a top-class thing for you.
All right.
For the way. Peace out.
Yep, thanks. Frank, closing statement, go.
Well, I'm going
What
to
have
try
we
to
learned?
give this. Well, we've learned that you shouldn't, like I said last week, don't be mad. Don't blame stuff that you can't control in losses. Don't blame officiating. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that it was bad. You can do that much. But if you really want to blame somebody, blame the fact that the Lions settled for field goals or couldn't move the ball the second half. That's really all you can do, and you just got to hope that they can be better tomorrow.
Yeah, even WILX Channel 10 and Lansing news anchor Megan Heiler was admitting that they settled for field goals, and she was not happy about it. Megan Vasili's friend, one of her friends. So that being said, Frank, ditto. Thanks very much. Hope your cold gets cured. For Frank, I'm Taylor. Follow the show on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Follow its Facebook page. Subscribe to the Stables Network's YouTube channel, Scoured's website, the Primetime with the Stables Network.com. Scour our website, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast.com. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Bon appetit, him with a hind.